everyone, and welcome to another episode of Live with Krystal Casey, where we tackle taboo topics and have those controversial conversations about womanhood. Today, I am joined by the lovely Tanysha Costales, author and CEO of Hannah's Unfading Beauty. Tanysha is a writer, publisher, and advocate for self-love and healing. Born and raised in Long Island, New York, she became independent at the age of 16 and graduated high school a year early by dedicating all her free time to studying while working part-time. After completing her medical assistant certificate program during her first two pregnancies, she pursued a career in business analysis. Following an abusive relationship, Tanysha experienced a very traumatic event that led to chronic pain and a diagnosis of fibromyalgia. After leaving that relationship, she embarked on a journey of self-love, forgiveness, and healing. Her experiences inspired her to write her new book, which is coming out this spring, Becoming a Virtuous Wife, a breakthrough guide of healing trauma, restoring your family, and unlocking the power of communication. Tanysha is a wife, mother of three, who has embraced her calling to help heal the brokenhearted through her writing and advocacy work. She believes everyone can benefit from the 9 keys and 3 golden nuggets that she offers in her book, which are based on her own experiences of overcoming spiritual conflict and seeking healthy relationships. In 2022, Tanysha founded her own publishing company, Hannah's Unfading Beauty LLC, to bring her message of love and healing to a wider audience. Welcome, Tanysha. It is so good to have you here. Thank you for joining me on Live with Krystal Casey. How are you today?
I am well. Thank you so much, Queen, for having me.
Absolutely. Today, we're talking about radical self-love and healing using self-love. And if you're joining us live, I want you to go ahead and drop a heart. And if you're catching the replay or recording, then go ahead and drop a 2 in the comments for me. So, Tanysha, we're going to go ahead and start off by asking, what is self-love? I know for a lot of us, when we think about self-love or self-care, we tend to think about those more expensive excursions, pampering ourselves, getting our nails done, going shopping. But self-love really goes so much deeper than that. What does self-love mean to you?
Self-love means, because we're talking on a topic that is taboo, right? A lot of people, when they hear, oh, you you have to love yourself first before loving someone else, they think, oh, that's so cliche. But it's true, because I used to think that that was cliche until I realized that my problem was that I never loved myself. So it's true. You need to love yourself first in order to love anyone else. And a lot of people, like you said, think that when they hear about self-love, you're being selfish or you're being conceited or you're placing yourself on a high pedestal, when that's not the case. I like to say self-love is not selfish, but it is selfless, because you need to love yourself first in order for you to have compassion over yourself, forgive yourself, speak to yourself in love, and in order for you to share that love to someone else and to speak to them with respect. So that is the meaning of self-love to me. And it ties along to your healing, especially if you are someone who has dealt with trauma and abuse. I can't hear you. You sound muted.
Yeah, just in case, so that you could talk in case the baby's starting in the background. And it's interesting to me that you use the word respect in the same sentence as in the definition of self-love. And I think that's very interesting. And that is a key piece that a lot of us are missing for ourselves, because we respect other people. We respect, for instance, if I make an appointment with somebody else, I'm very likely to show up to that appointment, right? There's somebody else involved. But if I say I'm going to do this thing to take care of myself, like wake up in the morning and work out, the chances of me holding to that aren't necessarily as high if I don't have self-love and self-respect.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
So I love that that is included in the definition. And to me, self-love also means self-care in the
Yeah.
very literal sense of taking care of yourself. To me, I picture it as taking care of myself the way I took care of my children when they were babies,
Yes.
especially when I'm in the most fragile state,
Yeah.
which means making sure, am I eating? Am I sleeping? Am I
Mm-hmm.
getting the essential care and comfort and connection that I need as a human being?
Right.
And that in and of itself is love. That's self-love.
Yeah. You're
So,
being tender.
yes, so important.
Mm-hmm.
How does self-love help you then heal from the trauma that you've experienced in the past?
Okay. So for me, from my personal experience, I've always dealt with self-hatred.
Mm.
I had a lot of not only negative self-talk within myself, but a lot of negative words being spewed at me since I was a child, my whole life. Family members, friends, classmates, acquaintances, strangers. So since that was all that I was hearing, that's how I would speak to myself, especially if I made a mistake. So, um, when you are dealing with trauma and abuse and you're listening to the words that other people are telling you, it starts distorting your vision of yourself. So now you're viewing yourself the way or the words that they're saying, oh, you're never going to amount to nothing. You're this and you're that. And what I did was I started people pleasing and I started doing things to make other people happy, right? Which that is an open door for abuse to come in. And because I'm people pleasing, I'm putting everyone else's needs before my own. And as we get older, we get into that relationship, we become mothers. Now we're wearing so many different hats and we're putting our children's needs, our partner's needs before our own, the job, the career, whatever the case may be. And we're forgetting about ourselves. We have too much on our plate and we're not, now we're stressed out. And now when the kids are, coming at us, we're, how should I say this? We are lashing out. So, but if we take that time, that day, 1 day, 2 days, possibly 3 days out the week to have our little self care of removing ourselves from the home and just spending, I don't know, you want to go to a park, go work out. You want to just, I don't know, walk, do something that you love, take yourself out to eat, take yourself to the movie, do little things that you like, and just get a little mental break and reflect on yourself and just start loving on yourself basically. But you need that alone time, you need that self-care. So it's not about pampering and stuff. Yes, if you want to, that's good, but it's so your mind is clear because we just have so much stuff on our plate and we're taking care of a lot of people. So that's self-care. That's what self-care means to me, and that's how it helps you from your trauma or your healing, because when now you're putting yourself first, right, and not everyone else, you're no longer going to let any abuse come in, or you won't accept being treated less than. You're going to only receive love. It's because you're loving
Yeah,
on yourself.
because you know your worth And you know, and you
Exactly.
value that. You value
Yeah.
yourself, and others will value you as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
100%. And something that kind of came up for me as you were speaking was those words that we heard, that we
Hmm.
have internalized
Yes.
as mothers when we're lashing out. Those are the
Hmm.
same words that are being poured out onto our poor children.
Yes.
And I know I'm
Yes.
100% guilty of this. And this is where I am
Me
still
too.
in my journey. And I work
Hmm.
every day to break this. And when I bring my awareness
Hmm.
to it, you know, the quicker
Exactly.
we can do it. But that's how we teach. That's how we teach them. Like,
Exactly.
look, mama's not perfect. Mama gets it wrong a lot, but
Mm.
mama's also going to make it right. And this is
Yeah.
how I'm going to do it. And
Yeah.
that is the lesson that they're going to internalize then. At
Yeah.
least that's my
No, it's
intent.
true. Awareness is the first step. So now you're aware, like, crud, like I did this again, and you're also communicating with your children. Like, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have lashed out. Mommy is still practicing, watching her mouth when, I have so much on my plate and I get a little frustrated. Please forgive me. I'm going to continue to work on this. So you're acknowledging it, you're communicating with your children, and you're taking action. So you're
Mhm.
on the right place to breaking that generational curse. I
Yeah.
applaud you.
Thank you. Same to you. And um your sweetness got to me and I forgot where I was going. Um all right, so let's just move forward from there. How does self-love help you move forward in your life to create a life that you truly love?
Yeah. So so you're working on yourself, right? So that's what I was doing. And once I started spending time on my own, um, I started becoming my own best friend, where I no
Mm,
longer needed anyone's acceptance or anyone's approval or anyone's recognition of me. I no longer cared for anyone's opinions about me. That's when I realized, wow, I do love myself. So that's how my healing journey began. I knew I needed to love myself, and I knew that was my problem. So once I realized that I finally tapped into that self-love, everything in my life changed.
mm,
Meaning, the way I spoke started changing, not only with myself, but with my children, with the father of my children, where at that time when I was discovering self-love, I separated even from the relationship. So, but because of that, I was able to forgive myself, and he wanted to work it out. I said, listen, I forgave myself. So you need to be able to forgive me and let it go, and we can move on. And that's how our relationship got restored. And so I started speaking to him differently, treating him differently, even treating my kids differently. I've always communicated with my kids, but now it was just on another different level, because you know why? Because I'm communicating in love. I'm not communicating in that hurt anymore. And I've always been real. I always told myself I'm going to be truthful to my kids. So even when we were going through what we were going through, and yes, they were way younger, that was 5 years ago, but I still told them, mommy and daddy has problems in our relationship, and this is, I still kept it real with them. So it just changes everything. It changes the way you speak to other people. So because of it, now you're no longer going to accept being disrespected. And when I say that, it's not like, um, let's say someone does disrespect you. Don't come at me like that. You ain't gonna talk to me. Blah, blah,
yep.
blah.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need to be
You're not
ratchet, okay?
reacting then.
Right, exactly. You're not reacting in that
Hmm.
way. You're just gonna be like, listen, I don't speak to you like that. Please do not speak to me like that. And if you're going to continue on, I'm going to walk away, because my
Yeah.
peace is important. And I don't need to put up with that. So just everything in your life changes. Your boundaries. You start creating healthy boundaries. You start raising your standards. And
Hmm.
and that's a lot of us what we never built. So that's how self-love ties into all of that. You don't understand. Start loving on yourself. Start doing the work. Everything in your life is going to change. That is the first golden nugget to your healing journey.
I love it. I love it. And I'm sure we could go on and on and on about this stuff. So we will definitely have to have you back again. I appreciate you so much being here and sharing, opening up the floor to talk about radical self-care and how it can
Yeah,
actually help you heal from your past and
yeah,
help you to create such a beautiful future.
yeah.
So I appreciate that. And I heard you have a gift for our audience. Would you like to share some information about that?
Yes, I am doing free self-love sessions. So if you want to tap into your self-love or have even started but need help, need direction, need guidance, some insight, some knowledge, someone to be able to love on you, reach out. She already put the link there and set up an appointment. So I'm here to serve and help my sisters. So take advantage of that self-love session. I am here to serve and pour out this love on you.
Well, thank you. I can tell your sessions are very powerful. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of this, hop on that session. The link is there and we'll share it in the group and in the comments as well after the show. And before we close, is there anything else that you would like to add or that you want women who are listening to know?
Okay, so I just want to say you are worthy. You are more than enough. You have a purpose in this life to fulfill. What you went through does not define you.
Mm.
If anything, it's going to sculpt you into the woman that you are called to be. So start loving on yourself and start doing the necessary work, not only for yourself, but for your children and for your family. My book, Becoming a Virtuous Wife, should be out published by Mother's Day, if not by the end of May. But in the meantime, I am accepting pre-orders on my website, www.hannahsunfadingbeauty.com. Go ahead and pre-order it. You won't regret it. I share so much information. Not only am I sharing the trauma and abuse that I got out of, but I'm sharing 3 golden nuggets to your healing journey, 9 keys to overcome spiritual conflict or daily struggles, and it's going to help you out. I love you all. Stay connected. Contact me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Hannah's Unfading Beauty. Love you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, Tanisha. Thank you for that gift and your time. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you, everyone. This has been another episode of Live with Krystal Casey. Remember, the conversation continues beyond the show. So let's keep breaking those taboos together in the ladies' lounge. Invite your friends, females 18 and over. This community is all about you. Until next time, stay empowered and keep the dialogue going. Bye-bye.